Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Medita, and welcome to my beautiful July monthly wrap-up voiceover. I know I forgot to do this in June, I'm pretty sure. I did it once before, but we all know I love my voiceovers. That's all I do. It's the most fun time of every YouTube video for me. I love talking. So here we have my July book wrap up in a voiceover, like always, over a Lego video. I'm building the Starry Night set by Vincent van Gogh. And honestly, I was so happy to finally build this. No one understands. No one understands. And so why not combine two of my two favorite things on this planet? Building Lego and reading. Duh. So here is my July monthly wrap up and my review on these books and if I think you should read them or not. Again, these are all my opinions. You could have different opinions. We're all different. We're all unique, and that's what makes us so special, and we love it. So here we go. The first book I read this month was Cherish Love by Nalini Singh. I'm so sorry if I didn't pronounce it correctly. I am so sorry. I suck at names. I think we all know this already, okay? But this is a translation, and I read it in German, however. And this book is about Sailor Bishop. I love the name Sailor. I'm not even gonna lie. And Issa. And Sailor and Issa are both girl bosses, okay? They're both working. They're cool. They have their own goals in life. Sailor doesn't want a relationship. Issa is this fiery redhead that also works in her mom's business but doesn't really want to do that. She has a bit of a #mommy issue situation going on right now. And that's how the situation starts off, okay? They have to work together. She is his boss at some point. And overall, the course of the book, obviously, they fall in love and all that stuff, right? And forced proximity, workplace romance, a little bit of I don't want a relationship. Let's just have a little bit of fun times, if you know what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I gave this book 4 stars, okay? And I have not been having a lot of good books for a while now. So this was really, 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 really mind-blowing to me that I finally gave a book again 4 stars. I absolutely loved the family dynamic in this book, especially Sailor's family. I thought it was super cute. I loved his brother. I loved his relationship with his parents. Was there a lot of smut in here? Yeah. A bit too much? Yeah, for me it was. I think we already know that I don't like too much smut in books, so that kind of turned me off a little bit, but everything else was fine. I loved that she was a bit older than him. I was like, oh my god, that's kind of cute. There wasn't really a really big plot twist. I liked it. It was comforting. It wasn't bad. There was nothing bad about this book, It was just basic, and I read it in German, which was honestly different. I don't really read a lot of German books, so that was kind of good to read something in German again. So yeah, I do recommend this to people who like standalones with a forced proximity and workplace romance, especially if you like a blah, 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 guy who gives you off lumberjack vibes, and it's totally for him. And Issa was so cool. And also, I'm so excited for the second book in the series because it's about her best friend, and I'm like, oh, so excited because apparently it's arranged marriage. So I need to read that soon too. Next, I read 3 books of the Hades and Persephone series by Scarlett Sinclair. Sorry, that was a tongue breaker here for a second. I read A Touch of Darkness last year, and honestly, you can read A Touch of Darkness as a standalone because the ending is closed, I would say, or it ends on a happy ending, but you can't do these books. Like, I was betrayed. I thought this was a trilogy, but apparently it's not. Even after the 3rd book, A Touch of Malice, the story is not over, and it's an open ending, and the 4th book is not being released until, next year. I don't know what to do, okay? I don't know. It's so bad. It's so bad. But anyways, here's what A Touch of Ruin is about, which is the 2nd book. So in the 2nd book, we pick up with Hades and Persephone after the ending of the 1st book, and I just need to give a bit of a backstory here. I don't really like Hades and Persephone retellings, okay? I did not like Neon Gods. I'm so sorry. I did not like it, but oh my god. Hades in this series is just so good because he has this softish, sweet side to him that nobody knows about. And I'm like, oh my god, am I blushing? Yeah, indeed I am. I am blushing. I do love Hades in this series. He's so cool. And I love Persephone in this series too. And A Touch of Ruin is just basically fully about issues in a relationship when you don't know the other person a lot. And throughout this entire book, we just find a lot more out about Hades and his past and what he's been doing over the years. And Persephone always gets really hurt and scared multiple times. She has trust issues just like I do. So same, I would like to say, because I don't trust anybody because everybody has betrayed me in my life. Please cue the dramatic music. Okay? I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. There was a lot of smut though. And honestly, we already know this. I like more cuddling than bang, bang, banging. And that's just me. I like the cuddles, the sweet stuff, the cute little kisses instead of the... I already explained this before, but I'm more a fan of that, and there was a lot of smut in here. I did ever cry in this book, and that already bumped it up to 4 stars instead of 3 because, I got emotional during that one scene because we get a lot of information about other characters that are not the main character. So not just Hades and Persephone, we get a lot of information about her best friend Lexa and Hades' past. And I just really like how this book had a lot of action consequences things going on, playing with the fates, learning a bit more about the Greek mythology, because honestly, actio reactio, you know, that physical thing, physics, right, that was used in here. And the consequences, they broke my heart. I was not doing fine. And the foreshadowing was there, okay? There was foreshadowing in here, and I love myself a little bit of foreshadowing. I love it. However, there was one plot line in this book that I thought was super unnecessary. I don't know why that was in there. However, I did then find out that it is important for the third book, so I kind of said, whatever, okay, it's fine. But I did, however, only give the third book 3 stars, just because I thought the third book's plot, right, could have been included in the second book if we just removed the 50% smut, because there was just so much effing in this book, so much. I don't know why I'm whispering, but there was just way too much. I was like, leave me alone. I don't need this many member scenes. Leave me and my cuddling alone. Put your spice scenes somewhere else. I don't want it. It's okay. I like my side characters. Sadly, the book ends on an open ending, as we all know, because there's a 4th book coming. So I did, in fact, scream because I thought it was a trilogy. And now my trust issues are up to a level 100 because I fully thought it was a trilogy. And somehow no one told me. Maybe I also just ignored everybody telling me that it wasn't a trilogy. And I just fully believed it myself. But we are not going to go into how my brain maybe tricked me. We're not going to go into that. I did, however, also read A Game of Fate, which is the first book, which is A Touch of Darkness out of Hades' perspective, and I did only give it 3 stars because I don't really know. I don't really like this book that much. It was okay, you know. I didn't really enjoy it that much. You might love it. We all have different opinions, right, but there was just too much smut yet again. I think that's a big critique I have with the series, but I just want to finish the series now because whatever, I still need to know what the ending is. Obviously, especially because there's a big secret about Hades and I want to know more about him. But this book really focuses on his business side and him just girl bossing his way to the top. So that was interesting. Then I finally finished rereading the Selection series. Round of applause, please, because I finally finished the one and it took me ages. This book gets 2 stars, but wow. This mother freaking cast, I don't like any of them. I don't like any main character. I like Lucy, and that's it. Leave me alone. Why is everybody so annoying? To this motherfucking day, I don't understand why anybody would name their child America. Why was this a thing? I don't understand what the point was of naming her America, because it plays in a country that was supposed to be America. You know what I mean? What are you even talking about? Why is she named that? And of course, she's totally knowing other girls. 2 stars. I don't even need to explain a lot about this book. Next, I read Words in Deep Blue, and I sadly only give it 3 stars. I was so prepared to give this book 5 stars. I was like, this is going to be one of my new favorites. I was absolutely and horribly disappointed in the end, okay? So there's 2 plot lines in the story, and one of them, oh my God, 5 stars. I love it. I love George. George is amazing. I love the little sister story. I love her entire plot, and there was not enough of her in here. I love the letters too. I love how all the letters were included in the letter library, right? But the main story, wow, Rachel deserves so much better than him. I don't like the main love interest. I don't like the guy. He is really annoying. There's a lot of unrequited love in here, and obviously Second Chance too, and there's a lot of sad scenes, and I did indeed cry. I didn't even cry, but not because of the main character's storyline, but because of the side character storylines. I'm sorry, I just misspoke again, right? But I like the side characters way more than the main characters. Henry is just not somebody I like. Henry's POV always threw me off because he just kept going on and on and on and on about his ex-girlfriend that was mentioned in the beginning of the book, and that's on the back. That's the entire conflict in this book, right? It's all about the stupid bitch called Amy. I fucking hate Amy. Leave me the fuck alone. Take Henry with you. Rachel deserves better. I love myself a Rachel, but everybody else can leave. This book did make me cry, though, so it did deserve 3 stars because, as I said before, I'm conflicted. I like one part of the story, and the other part I absolutely hate. So, 3 stars. Next, I read The Wedding Crasher by Mia Souza, and this book was funny. I love myself some jokes. I love a rom-com. This is a comedy romance book, right? But usually they have a lot of like funny scenes. I really like it. So I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love Dean and Solange. Both their characters were amazing. Dean was already mentioned in the first book, and this is, the sequel to technically the Worst Best Man, because these characters are in the same universe. And I love the family plot in here. I love Solange's family. It's so cute. I love the restaurant scenes. They were amazing. I love the wedding scenes in the beginning. It was so good and so funny. I laughed so hard all the time. Solange is super caring and sweet, especially with her family, and it made me love the entire universe. I absolutely love the family trope. It's one of my favorite things on this planet, and there was so much focus on family in this book, especially coming from Solange's side. And obviously, this is a fake dating book, which I do enjoy too. I also didn't really know this was fake dating when I started reading it, so I was kind of like shocked, and I was like, what? How did I not know this? But I love the fake dating, and Dean is so sweet and caring, and I absolutely loved when Max and Alina showed up, who were the main characters in the first book in this universe. It's just so fluffy and sweet and cute, and the first kissing was just so good in my opinion. I love it! Next, I read Tangled by Emma Chase, and this book deserves 0 stars, but I can't give you 0 stars, so I'm going to give you a 1, right? This book sucks. This book sucks. It's out of the men's perspective. Oh my god, it was so bad. There was so much misogyny in there, and so much weird, like, male testosterone energy, and it was written by a woman too. I was like, what are you doing? What is this? This is so stupid. I'm going to read to you guys the beginning of chapter 4, because wow, that threw me off. I already hated the book from the beginning right away, but that, oh my god, I was like, this is so ugly. What am I reading? And then I had to finish it because I started it, and we all know I don't DNF. I've DNF'd 1 book so far, and I need to read it to give you guys all my honest opinions all the time. So here is the beginning of chapter 4. Beware, this is going to make you all scream and just like want to like throw a pillow across the room or something. It makes you angry, okay? So be prepared for some anger coming up. Turns out I didn't get blue balls after all. I met up with the coffee house girl that night. She's a yoga instructor. Nice. What? Come on, don't be like that. I want Kate, no question. But don't accept me to be like a monk until it happens. The thing women don't understand is that men can want one woman and still fuck another. Hell, a guy could love a woman and still fuck 10 others. It's just the way it is. Sex is a release, purely physical. That's all. At least to men it is. Excuse me? What is this? And this is the man that this book's about? This is the multi-million-dollar businessman that I'm supposed to fall in love with? Absolutely not. Drew Evans can leave and never come back to this planet. Please, take a rocket and get shipped into the middle of nowhere on space. We're finally done with Tangled now. We're going to go on to The Annihilator, which is the 5th book in the Darkverse series. I gave this book 3.5 stars. I don't really like stalker romances. I, however, have to read the series because it's in the Darkverse series, and I want to find out what happens in the Darkverse series. I absolutely love the 3rd book. That's my favorite one. And then the 1st and 2nd, obviously. I love the 1st one. They're so good, whatever. But this book is a stalker romance, and that's just a little bit of a turnoff for me because I'm just not the biggest fan of it. I do, however, love how Runnix always has super detailed trigger warnings in the beginning of every book, so you always know what you're getting yourself into. Everything is always mentioned, very detailed, not just like, this is a dark romance, check your triggers. No, we get some detail on what this book is going to be about. I do believe, however, that if you like stalker romances, this is definitely for you. I just wasn't a fan. I don't like stalker romances, not just my thing. I, however, need to read it to read the full series, right? Like, it's a necessary read to me. However, there were a lot of secrets revealed in this book that had me gasping. I was like, oh, no way. I was like, my jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, I did not expect that. And honestly, it does, however, make a lot of sense. I was really happy when everything came out in the end. And now I'm super excited for the last book in this series. So yeah. And next, I read Wallbanger by Clayton Alice, and this book gets a whopping 0 stars, but I had to give it 1 again because we all know you can't really give 0 stars on Goodreads. Holy freaking cricket. I listened to this as an audio in the beginning, and then I almost had a heart attack because I didn't know that audio narrators actually change their voices during smut scenes and make it seem like, I don't even want to say it. I don't want this video to begin, but wow, that was weird. I had the audio up pretty loud because I was like lying in bed and my phone was on my desk, and then suddenly my phone just starts making like a moaning sound. I was like, what the hell is going on? And it was this audiobook, and I was so terrified. I was so terrified. And then just overall, I just didn't like him. I didn't like the storyline. It was just a really weird, cringy book with way too much smut. And I really didn't like it. It was so quick. The ending was super bad. Next, I read Temp Me by Kay Tucker, which is the first book in the Wolf Hotel series. And I gave this book 3 stars. I think I might bump it down to 2.5 because I do like Abby, but I just don't like Henry at all. And I've now finished this entire series, and I think overall I'm going to give the series a 2 stars max. Why? The 3rd book had body shaming. The 4th book was unnecessary. There was way too much smut in this series. And Abby is super, super, super insecure, like on another level where I'm just a bit confused on what's going on. And then Henry is just a grade A asshole, and I don't think that he and Abby should be together. It makes no sense to me why they are together at all. The power dynamic was off because it's a boss and assistant romance story, and it was really used in this book. And then in the I'm just gonna talk about like the 2nd and 3rd book now too, but he was accused of doing something really bad in the 2nd book, and I don't know why Abby stayed with him throughout this entire book. I just didn't like anything about this entire series. It was super cringy, way too much plot. But like also no plot at all. The plot was just bad. I didn't like the series at all, and that's kind of sad because I really like Kay Tucker because of, The Simple Wild, but this series just didn't do it for me at all, and I really, really, really hated it. Next, however, I did read The Fairy Tales of the Macabre by Olivia Blake, and wow, 5 out of 5 stars. I love short stories. I love fairy tales. I love everything about this. There's 3 books in the fairy tale collection series. I read the 1st and 2nd one this month, and I gave the 1st one 5 stars and the 2nd one 4.5 stars, which is high. And the 3rd one is going to be about the Grimm brothers, which I already know is going to be 5 stars anyways. But I loved everything about this. I love Olivia Blake's writing style. It's amazing to me. And in the 1st book, we have 4 amazing short stories, and I love them all. The 1st one is called Pins and Needles, and there's this weird obsession plot line in it, and it's super good with like romance and possession, and the ending is like open, so you don't know what's going on. You're a bit confused, and you're like, what the hell? You can think of yourself what you want to do with this ending. I would love to have a full story on this series, honestly. I love all of these short stories. Then we have the Animation Games, which is 100% my favorite book out of the 1st one, my favorite short story. It's about revenge, obsession, competition, love, slow burn. It's gruesome, it's detailed, it's gory, it's dark. It was so good. And then 3rd, we have Fates and Consequences, was also just amazing, okay? There's nothing bad about that story. It isn't really romance-based. It's more about deceiving, deception, and then also betrayal. Really good. Loved it. And then we also have the 4th one, which is called Sensual Tales for Carnal Pleasure, which is about resisting and urges and wishes, and it was so good as well. Love the ending as well. It's just so good. I feel like Olivia Blake really has a good writing style for mystery and maybe also fairy tale books, and it really came through in this series. And then the 2nd book called Midnight Dreams, the fairy tales for, oh my god, so good. The 2nd book in the fairy tale collection, which is this one, has 5 short stories. The 1st one is called The 12 Huntsmen and was so good, okay? Amazing, strong female main characters. We have magic, witches, a love triangle, romance, secret identity, a giant secret surrounding the kingdom, and it was so good. It has a happy ending with a love story that I absolutely love. The 2nd one is called The Wish Bride, which is just with ghosts and soulmates and magic and wishes, and it was so good. I loved it, and secrets, and everything was just happening at the same time, but it was so slow, and there was longing, and there were 2 in desperation, and I was like, so good. And then we have Avalon, which is also just amazing. I don't know why I like this book so much. And then we have Sucker of Pain, which was super gory and dark. It was with vampires. Rawr, I loved it. It was so good. I don't even know how to explain it, but these stories were amazing. I love these short stories. They really made me go back into my fantasy phase after this because of how they were written. I was like, this is fall. This is coming into winter. I'm so excited for the 3rd one now, and I know I read this in summer still, but wow, I definitely need to reread this during the winter season. Then I read The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller, I think that's how you pronounce it, and I don't know. I gave this book 3.75 stars, 3.5 stars maybe. I don't know, because I really loved the beginning of the story, and then the ending made no sense to me at all. Like, the plot was supposed to be super shocking, and yeah, it was, but it made no sense because we learned so much about these characters from the beginning of the book, and then this just absolutely made no sense because two characters were ruined, not just one, but two characters were ruined, and in the end, like, they still don't notice that the second character is ruined too, which ruins the entire storyline and the entire buildup of why this is even all happening. And I was so confused on why the third act acted the way it did. I thought it would have had a different ending. Honestly, it would have made a lot more sense in my head. Or at least there were two plot twists in the ending, two gasp moments. One of them was good. Both should have not happened. One of them was enough. The second one was unnecessary and ruined the plot. I did, however, absolutely love the fashion aspect in this book. The dresses, the entire description of all the clothes they wore all the time, the romance, the secrets and history behind the shadows. I loved it. I thought it was super cute. I loved the two together. I thought they had a lot of chemistry. And it was a really fast book because it's obviously a standalone, but yet again, the ending kind of ruined the book for me, and now I'm kind of thinking of giving it just 3 stars after hearing how I just talked about it. But yeah, it's still a really quick and easy read for fantasy, and maybe you do like the ending. I just kind of was a bit confused. Next, I read Every Summer After, which was on my summer TBR, and 2.5 stars, max, more like 2 stars. I love the flashbacks, right? I love flashbacks in every book. I love second chance romance too. I, however, hated the second chance romance. Percy, or also known as Persephone, why did Sam take you back? It makes no sense in my head. Absolutely no sense. I didn't like any of the characters, really. I didn't like Charlie, I didn't like Percy, and I didn't like Percy's best friend. None of them were interesting to me. And I was also wondering this entire time, where the hell are the parents? Where the hell are the parents? Because, like, they were mentioned, but then when the big secret was revealed, I thought that the parents would kind of be involved, maybe, because they've, like, known each other now for years, but they just weren't, and I was just super confused, and I would have never forgiven Percy. Let's be fully honest, I don't think I would. Well, okay, no, I would have, but I would have never forgotten, and I would have never gotten back together with her. That's how I would have, ended that story. Then I read Serpent and Dove, and okay, so I listened to Serpent and Dove for the first 50% because I was building Lego, right? I think I need to kind of put this out there before I start talking about this book, but I often don't notice things when I listen to them as much as when I read them, just because listening is a lot quicker, and because you don't see the words as well, you can't really go back and you can't go over if you, like, misread something maybe. But in the end, I gave this book 2 stars, more like 1.5, because I went into this book not really knowing a lot about it, just because I don't remember it being mentioned a lot on TikTok, only back in 2020, and I never read it because I was waiting for the third book to come out. Then no one talked about the third book, and I was just really confused because I never saw anything about it, but I was like, okay, let me just read it. I really love witches. I love any type of stories about witches. I always thought they were really interesting, and just magic in general I really enjoy. Here's the thing, however, with this book, right? I thought the beginning was pretty good, but a lot of the things in the story were very iffy and definitely problematic, and things I would change if I were this author. And I'm going to name a few, but I have it detailed on Goodreads just because I don't think me speaking is going to give you as much detail as I think it would be writing down. I don't know. I think it's easier to read it than say it. Basically, this is a hunter and hunted story. So the hunted, the witch, falls in love with the hunter who hunts and kills witches. And I was kind of expecting this book then to go in a way that the hunter would change his views on witches throughout the book. I'm obviously going to be spoiling a bit in here now, just because this is a negative review. I usually have a bit of spoilers in negative reviews. I thought she was going to somehow be able to show him that witches aren't evil, and that he shouldn't fear them and shouldn't hunt them down. However, that didn't really happen. He still hates witches. So I'm like, why are you together? What's the point? You can't just make an exception for one person and still hunt down the rest of her entire species. Because I think witches are a species, what you call it, like a mythical creature, right? You can't just hunt them all down. I don't get it. So I was like, this makes no sense to me at all. It's a weird concept overall already. And when you look back, he never really accepted her at all. So I'm just like, this isn't really romantic at all. I wouldn't ship them together. And then the second part is obviously about Coco, who is the only black character as far as I remember. And she wasn't really described. She got one sentence in the beginning where her skin color was described. And I think I need to point this out, but when you only describe black or like POC characters' skins, you are putting out the statement that white skin is the norm. So if you describe one character's skin color, you should describe them all. You should also describe the white person's skin color, because they're not the norm. Everybody is normal, so every character should be described the exact same way. And then the last book I read is One of Us is Lying, and I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked this book. I thought it was really good. I love the secrets. I did not know who the murderer was in the end. Well, until the end, the plot twist shocked me, definitely. I was like, oh, no way. I did not expect that at all. I know that there was foreshadowing definitely in this book. So, at the end, obviously, my predictions kind of added up and kind of gone into the correct direction. But my first theory was wrong. And I kind of thought, I was like, oh my God, I'm so smart. And my theory is so going to be correct. I was wrong. I was not correct. I was wrong. And then in the end, I was like, oh, I kind of feel dumb for not noticing this. But it did make sense. However, this book I was like, whoa, this is dark. And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting, though, at the same time. I love secrets, however, and I love the multiple POVs of the 4 characters. I thought it was really good. And I can't wait to read the sequel. And this was also the last book I read this month. So I don't really know how many books I was in total, but I did read a lot, I think. Not as much as last month, but I think I got better this month again. I wasn't in a reading slump, so that's really good. And yeah, those are all my reviews. This is my monthly wrap up. We all know how it is, yada, yada, yada. You can read them if you want to. You don't read them if you don't want to read them. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you all for listening to my second monthly wrap up since I skipped 1 month. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you can give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my monthly wrap ups or any bookish content, you can subscribe. Yeah. Again, have a great day, evening, night, time, morning, whatever times you're in. If you're enjoying yourself, read a book, read One of Us is Lying, or read, I don't really know. Read the Olivia Blake fairy tale collection series. I dare you to read it and do it. It's so good. Okay? Okay. Okay, again, have a great day, happy reading, and see you next time.